And welcome, everyone. Welcome to your second episode of Amazon Q. I am your host, Jonathan Dion, and today I'm with Aaron and Erica. How's it going?
Yeah, we're good. How are you doing, John?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Listen,
So,
listen to me answering for Erin. Sorry about that, Erin. I am good.
I
How
said
are you,
Aaron
Erin?
and Erica. I said the both of you. That's okay. That's awesome. Aaron, where are we streaming from today? I thought we are streaming from a few
Well,
different
you're
places.
streaming. You're streaming from the Maple Shack, and I'm streaming from my house. Because last week, hey
That's
everyone,
fair.
let us know in the chat if you watched last week's episode where I was streaming from. But we are streaming to multiple destinations. Okay, so what John's asking is like, where are you viewing us from? I know Erica's gonna ask that later on, so stay tuned. Get ready. Get your fingers ready. We're going to twitch.tv/AWS. Twitch.tv/AWS Training Live. That's two different Twitch destinations. We're going to Facebook. We're going to YouTube and LinkedIn. Oh, and the sixth location, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that one. X. Okay.
There you
And
go.
I'm also from Frisco, Texas. John, Erica, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Bothell, which is just outside of Seattle. Been living in this area for about 2 years. Before that, I was in the UK. Before that, I was in South Africa. Clearly, just country hopping all over the place.
Right?
That sounds pretty good. That's awesome. And then I'm actually from Montreal, so that is the weird French accent. So now you got two strange accents there. Aaron, can you make strange accents?
Erin is
Y'all.
the one with the strange accent.
I mean, the strange accent to me is saying y'all. It's not natural. I'm
Y'all.
born and bred California. Yeah, so like I can't say y'all, but you know what? You all are accepted here. So hey, everyone, let us know where you're joining from in the chat. I'm in Frisco, Texas, U.S. Erica is in Bothell, Washington, U.S., but originally from Cape Town, South Africa. John's
Correct.
in Montreal. I'm so excited to see everyone and where you're joining us from today.
We got
Absolutely.
someone from
Okay,
Montreal as well.
love
See?
it.
It's
Love
awesome.
it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I very close to me as well in Ottawa. There you go. So we're
You can't just
sorry.
pick all the Canadians out, John.
I,
That is
Okay,
like,
I'll call
this is
this one
just
out.
how it's gonna be.
New York City, we have, okay, let's talk about this for like 10 seconds. The AWS Summit in New York City is happening next week.
yes.
I'll be there.
Right.
If you see me there, let me know. And if you haven't been to an AWS Summit yet, then check out the links in the chat that our chat moderator is going to help out with for the global events page. You can register for them. They're free. Check it out.
Ooh, there's one for me, Johannesburg, South Africa. I love that one. Seeing
Yeah.
as we're playing favorites on this show. But no, I am super happy to have all of you here, wherever you're from: Germany, Paris, France, UAE, Kenya, Asante Sana. So many different places that you are joining us from. It is very exciting to have you all with us today.
All right. So, what are we supposed to be doing today? Let me pull up my screen.
Yeah, please
We're
tell us.
instead of just talking about countries and whatnot, I like that part, especially when people are from Canada. But so we are
Or
into the deep dive
also
into
Frisco,
Amazon Q.
Texas.
Exactly. There you go. You had to pull that one. That's awesome. Austin, Texas is close to you, right?
They're literally in the same city as where I live.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, up next we have the deeps, or what we're talking about for the show. So the deep dive into Amazon Q with AWS. This is a 5 weeks episode, so we have already done one of the episodes. So we're now at episode 2, which is going to be about answering business questions with Amazon Q. Right, Aaron?
That is
So-
absolutely correct. So I'm super excited because we kind of tiptoed into Amazon Q for Business last week, but we're going to do an entire episode today dedicated all to it.
Yeah. So I did a small little demo last week, but what I would love to know is if people have actually done or were there last week. So let me reset our counters there. So how many deep dive into Amazon Q with AWS sessions have you watched? So if you want to put the numbers inside of the chat, we're going to be able to see how many you've actually watched. If it's your first time, that's okay. If you've already watched one, that's amazing too. You just put the number in the chat. So that will start going as soon as you do that.
But if this is
Um,
their first time here, where do they go to find last week's episode?
Yeah, the Twitch collections. So twitch.tv/AWS Training Live. You should see the collections on the bottom, but I am sure our lovely chat moderators will put the direct link to the Twitch collections for you in the chat.
And here it is. This is what it looks like when you get there. Okay, so we're waiting for that poll to populate. I'm going to hijack the screen here for a second. So this link is going to be in the chat for everyone. And this is what it looks like. So if you missed last week's episode, go give it a shout or a view, a watch, a see. Do the thing.
I'm so glad I'm not wearing the same shirt as last week. Otherwise, that would be a little bit of weird.
Hold on.
But
where did John go? We lost John.
Ooh, that's okay. We can continue from now. So we have this 5-episode show. Today, we are jumping a little bit deeper into Q Business. We are super happy to have you here. And it looks like there were many people who are actually here for the second time. So they've joined us on episode 1 and on episode 2. And that always makes me super, super happy, right? To know that. But again, if you haven't, then please just use the link that is in the chat there now. I can see it so that you can go and watch episode 1 if you did miss it. Let's
here's the poll. Let's go ahead
absolutely.
And get this all the way up. Here we go. And I refreshed it. Why was Aaron blocked? Oh no, giving away secrets here. Okay, here's the poll. Here's the thing. Hey, all of our friends who watched last week, thank you for being here again. We appreciate each of you. And if this is your first time here, I just showed you where you can go to get last week's episode. We also should have links in the chat for each of you. And I believe John is back.
That's how you know we are live, right? This is how you know we are doing this live, because stuff happens all the time when you are live. I once had a disappearing computer, like it was literally sliding off the back of my desk while I was streaming. But that was interesting. However, can we recap, John, a little bit what we did in episode 1 before we go to episode 2?
Absolutely. Let me pull my this thing right over there. So last week we talked about a few little things, right? You were the main host last week, right, Erica? So you were keeping us on toes on that point.
I was trying my best. But you got to do what you can do with what you're working with, right? So we did talk a little bit about how important generative AI has become, and we showed you that according to Gartner, 80%, more than 80% of enterprises will have will have used generative AI applications by 2026, which was very impressive. We also saw another stat.
On that one.
Absolutely, where it is estimated that productivity improves more than 30% on average, almost a third on average, by using generative AI supported work. So that is some amazing stats and some of the reasons why you should be watching this show. Because yes, Amazon Q is in fact generative AI. So we did have a short little refresher into what generative AI is. So if you can remember what generative AI is, if you can write one little sentence there in the chat about what you remember generative AI is, that would be great. We then introduced you to Amazon Q a little bit, and the different flavors of Amazon Q, which was Amazon Q Business, Amazon Q Developer, Amazon Q and QuickSight, Amazon Q and Connect, and coming soon also Amazon Q in AWS Supply Chain, right? And we talked about the different Q personas and how Q will answer differently depending on where you're asking it from. Are you using the Amazon Q guide option in the documentation or the console? Are you using the code companion in Cloud9 or your favorite integrated development environment, IDE? And I think we showed you VS Code as an example last
That's right.
week. Or are you using it in context of a service? For instance, are you asking it questions about the logs that is the output of CloudFormation template, and then it will answer things a little bit differently? We talked about
I showed the was it the Lambda function one where we had an issue with the S3 bucket and some,
correct.
right? That was the
Correct.
Q troubleshooting inside the service. There you go.
Exactly. So 3 different personas and 4, almost 5 soon, different products or flavors of Q. We talked about the different services that Q integrates with and the different data sources that Q can integrate with. And John gave us an absolutely beautiful demo of all these different options that we had. He showed us a little bit of Q Business, a little bit of Q Developer, a little bit. I mean, I don't know how you did all of that in such a short time, John, but you did an absolutely beautiful job of that.
That's why we ran out of time. That
Oh.
is this is not the how, it's more the we ran out of time because I did that.
Absolutely. And we did unfortunately, if you can just go to the next slide there, John.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
So we did talk about Q Business, Q Developer,
Developer.
Q and Connect, Q and Supply Chain.
And then there was another one, right? That's the one you're trying to get me towards. 1 second. I hid that slide. I thought we were not going to talk about the fact that Aaron didn't get to talk about his favorite subject. All right. That's fine.
So I was wondering if Aaron wants to talk a little bit about it today. I mean, Aaron, we don't have a ton of time, just cracking the
We
whip
don't.
over here.
Yeah.
But just a little bit about how Q is secure and private by design would be lovely.
Yeah, so essentially, Amazon Q is secure by design and private. It's going to be locked down to only your data, so you can train it based on that data. You also have some pre-trained models that you can use for some generic information, but essentially, it's going to help understand and respect your data, your information, your existing identities, your roles, your permissions. It's a very, very deep topic that we can dive deeper into. You know what? Actually, I'll see if we can get a link to a skill builder course that can help you learn more about Amazon Q security, which would do way more diligence than what I have in the 30 seconds I've been allotted right now.
Perfect. Yes.
Oh,
we'll get that to you.
I've prepared some stuff about security in this episode. So then you can tell us all about it.
Yeah. But let's talk home fun, Aaron. What about what was the home fun?
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you remind me?
Yeah, so last week's home fun was this right here. It was for everyone to go into the Amazon Q introduction within AWS Skill Builder. And again, this is free. So it's my wake word. Free and demo are the 2 wake words that'll really get my ears peaked. But go through, do this. You're supposed to have already. If you haven't, go ahead and do it. Actually, we have a poll.
It's
John, should we bring up the poll?
15 minutes. That's how long it takes you to get nice
know,
crispy
it's-
bacon in the air fryer. Put the bacon in, quickly do the Amazon Q introduction, crispy bacon when you're done.
Right, exactly. And I think we have a poll, so let's just go ahead and do this real quick. Did you do your home fun? 1 for whatever that says, that you're on a very small screen for me. 2 for whatever it says. 3 for whatever it says, and 4 for whatever it says.
1 for I
can't read
looked
it.
at Skill Builder. 2 for I looked at the Amazon Q introduction, which is the Skill Builder course inside in there. 3 for I don't
this is
know.
2.
Now it's disappeared entirely.
Yeah, it disappeared. There you go. I was trying
3,
to make
4.
it bigger for Aaron. It seems like I tried.
This is way better.
So-
Yes, thank you.
3 for I looked at CloudQuest, and 4 for I didn't even know there was a home fun.
So what is this that's Cloud Quest. Oh my gosh, Quad Quest. No, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. Cloud Quest is this
Good.
game-based learning platform for everyone. So that way you can go through and develop these in-demand cloud squills. I can't say that. I can't speak today. I need more coffee. Develop in-demand cloud skills in this immersive role-playing simulation. So there's a couple different roles for you. You can get badges.
I
And
got an
it's really fun.
extra for you here, Aaron.
Thank you
Just
so
take it.
thank you so much. Also
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sponsored by
yeah.
Starbucks. Thank you for that.
There you go.
Not
Sorry.
non-branded. Yeah. And then we have our security, data analytics, networking, serverless developer, solutions architect, machine learning. What's cool about this is within the serverless developer and machine learning roles, there are generative AI skills or solutions for you. So we actually have a Twitch series that deep dives into this, and Erica was a host for that. So again, that's what Cloud Quest is. If it's your first time hearing about it, and your other home fun option was the introduction to Amazon Q in AWS Skill Builder. Let's see who did this. Look at that.
We see a few that looked at Skill Builder. That's good enough, right? Like
Yeah.
I think we're on
It's
par.
baby steps. Baby steps. We got
Baby
one
steps.
closer. Yes.
I have a way more fun home fun today, I think, in my opinion. Again, maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. So next week we'll know. So, spoiler alert, though, there's a little bit of Skill Builder again, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll have fun. So we're done talking about the past, right? Let's move on now to today. Today, we're going to be talking about answering business questions with Amazon Q. So, episode 1, we did talk about Amazon Q business, but just at the very high level. Now, this time, what I want to do is, what we are going to be doing is going way more into Q business. So, what I can do now is just go out and show you what the agenda is for this week. So,
But
yeah.
wait, John, can you first just tell me why should I care about Amazon Q business?
I did not put that on the agenda at all. That's a pretty good question. So maybe okay, scroll back. Go back to
You
Aaron's
say
favorite
scroll
topic.
back or squirrel back?
Squirrel back.
Squirrel.
So while I was on Q, we talked about this last week, but I want to talk about maybe some little issue. So whenever I have to talk about a new subject, I normally like to use something that's called it's show me the pain, make the claim, prove the gain. That's how you say it. So show me the pain. We show you an ouchie. So then you're like, oh, I don't like this. Make the claim that I'm going to fix the pain, and then I have to prove the gain afterward. So today, the way that I'm going to be playing this is talking to you about some of the pain that you may feel. So the first one, for example, maybe some difficulties with searching and deriving insights across a
Wow.
lot of different data silos.
That
Do
makes
you
so
know
much
about this?
sense. No, absolutely. Because there's here at AWS, there's the wikis, there's Slack, there are my emails, there's work docs, there's the ticketing system. There's so many different places that I have to keep an eye on and search to find what I need to find. And they're not always very easily searchable, especially my
That's right.
inbox. It's a mess. My inbox is an absolute mess.
It's trying to find across each one of those, and it's not a new problem, right? This has been
No.
talked about for
Yeah.
years, and we even have other solutions that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and I'd
that
love to
helps
know
on that
also.
side.
Sorry for interrupting you there.
Yeah, go for
John.
it.
I would love to know from our participants here, our chat. Can you tell me what other places do you have data located that you would love to make more searchable, that you can use and get more information, more insight from? I would love to know that. Maybe you're using databases or some other solution. I'd love to know about that.
Yeah, it's trying to figure out where is all where do you search all the time? I think Slack is the one where I search the most in because there's
Right.
so much information in there. And then the problem is when the conversations goes away because you don't keep the data forever or something like
Yes.
that, then that's no fun. And then, yeah, HR policy apparently would
Oh,
be
yeah.
one, oops, sorry, one of them. There's and then Debster's saying my text also.
Yeah.
Where that is not fun to search in your own text.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's so many places. So it seems to be a big point or pain point for everyone. But all of these things about data, right? So we have data in all of these little places, but then don't we have a lot of concerns from a security standpoint, Aaron, on the data privacy, safety, security requirements as soon as we talk about data?
Exactly. So every time we talk about data, there's data residency and governance. Where does the data exist? Also, who has access to the data? So least privilege, keep that in mind. And then when you're
Yep.
dealing with any kind of generative AI model, you have to make sure that you have some guardrails in place too, because there's prompt engineering solutions that some creative people can use to get access to the data that you don't want them to. So be aware of that. But we'll talk about some of that today with Amazon Business. Amazon Q Business, and how you can lock things down, and whether or not, actually, you know what? Here's a hint. When we jump into the demo, I may or may not be able to ask what John's favorite flavor of maple syrup is. It fruit punch flavored maple syrup?
Oh goodness, you're gonna make him angry. I can already see the sweat
Don't
there.
you dare bring this subject.
Don't you dare!
There is only one flavor of maple syrup. This is the way.
Exactly. This is the way.
I
We
mean,
love it.
he's standing in front of the maple shack. I mean, I have to.
Oh, I love that.
I know. I'll take care of that later. So I love your love for security there. Now, what I wonder is, in terms of what another pain point, right? So we talk about two pain point. We have a lot of data silos, and then problems. Well, the issues with if we have one tool that goes and grabs all of this data, security, right? Data compliance, etc. On that side, but a pain point everyone has. Like, what's the one thing you wish you had at the end of every day? Like you had
Time.
more of it at the end
More
of every
time.
day.
Give me more
More
time.
time.
Yes, I never. I would just like to finish one day feeling like, okay, I've done everything. I've never had that. I would love that.
So, how about we try limited development resources, right? So, way too many companies have multitude of generative AI that are powered by a bunch of different tools, but they all have to build those tools and try to make them go. So, so that's the third one. So we got the data silos, we got the security problem, we got trying to optimize your time so you have a little bit more time at the end. And then the last one that I would say for Amazon Q is a pain point that Amazon Q solves, right? So irrelevant or outdated or inaccurate responses. Anyone that talks about generative AI, normally at some point we're going to talk about hallucinations, right?
So,
Irrelevant, outdated, inaccurate responses. That's a mouthful. What does all that mean?
I know.
Gen AI can get delusional. I was like, yeah, this is interesting.
It can hallucinate.
Hallucinate.
Hallucinate, exactly. And then when they hallucinate, it's no fun. So I spent a ton of time trying to build my generative AI application. So we have the second pain point to try to grab all of these data silos, and then now I have the problem of, well, it's hallucinating and not giving me the data that's actually inside of whatever I just looked at or wanted to have and whatnot. So those are the 4 points that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
4 pain points, right?
Can you just quickly summarize those 4 for me again?
Yep. So the 4 of them being, 1 second. So the 4 of them being, I have the data silos, I have the security about the data silos, or about the data. Then we have time, and then trying to optimize on our time, and then finally we have the trying to get the irrelevant or hallucination to go away, right? So that we don't sacrifice everything we've had. So the idea is, again, that was a show me the pain.
Pain.
Now I want to make the claim. So if I
Show me
open
the
up,
pain.
sorry,
You
that
can't
way.
get gains if you have no pain. That's a old
So-
workout thing.
This thing called Amazon Q Business apparently has multiple benefits, like accurate, comprehensive answers. So apparently solving the number 4.
Yes.
Simple to deploy and manage. Apparently number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Configurable and customizable. Okay. Data and application security. That's number 2. And
Yes.
then broad connectivity. That would be out of the box connection to multiple supported data sources. That would be number 1. So that's
Okay.
the claim.
That's a big claim.
That's a
That's
big
a big
claim
claim.
that's going to solve all of those 4 pain points, right? So,
Okay, so
How
I'm
about-
following the pattern here. You discussed the pain, you made the claim. So are you going to prove the gain now to me?
yeah. So remember last week I said that we ran out of time because I had a demo. Well, this week instead of having multiple demos, I just have one, but it has 10 steps. That's all.
Only 10.
So yeah, I just have one. That's okay. We're actually going to be creating an application inside of Amazon Q, and then going and doing a bunch of those little things that you see right there. The whole idea is that I have a bunch of data. Let me go and open up my file explorer here. So a bunch of data from a bunch of different places. So some of that data, if I go in here, is coming from best practices or the website of AWS. So some AWS docs. I have some data in here that's about, insurance claims. So from autos and floods and hurricanes and things like that. I even have fake claims from fake people. So we got a little bit of data across everything that we're doing. I even have images so that I need to figure out, and I don't know if Amazon Q supports images. So there seem to be a lot of data that we need to be taking care of. So what I'm going to be doing is creating an application. That's number 1. Selecting a retriever. So we're going to create the retriever, select one of them. Then we start connecting to the data sources. So once we have the retriever, that is the index, and then we start pulling from those different places that I'll talk about. Then I'm going to add users to that thing. It's going to be you, Erica, and Aaron. Just get ready. You
Wait,
better be ready to ask questions.
I'm not ready for this. Okay, I'll get ready. I'll figure it out.
So that's going to be your step number 5, is accessing the web experience. It's going to be your job, not my job. That's yours.
I saw a comment in the chat here while you have this pulled up. We had to follow John's simple 10-step program.
That's it. That's all it is.
That's it. It's only 10
Not
steps.
hard. And then I will start deviating a little bit, but I'll talk about Q apps, which if you've heard about Party Rock, that's the thing, but that's an internal to the company. We'll talk about that. Relevance tuning, because some of the data, it comes from, I don't know, web crawlers versus coming from S3 versus you want to give more relevance to one thing versus the other. Admin and controls, because I definitely don't want Aaron to ever talk about maple syrup. So that's pretty much
punch
it.
flavored maple syrup.
and
Oh, goodness.
and then we'll talk about plugins because Erica mentioned she likes ticketing system that much. So we're going to be seeing if I can get Amazon Q to create tickets inside of Jira. And then the last one is document enrichments, where I'll be merging Bedrock and Q. So we're going to use the duct tape service. Sorry, the connective tissue service, Lambda. Sorry, no, I can't call it the duct tape service. That's bad. But that's okay. It connects Amazon Q and Bedrock together. So
before we get started, should we do a real quick recap for all of our friends? If you just joined us, if you're joining a little bit late, it's okay. Welcome. We are so glad you're here. We're doing a deep dive into Amazon Q with AWS. And today we're talking about Amazon Q Business. And we're streaming to 6 different locations: Twitch, yes, AWS and AWS Training Live, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X or Twitter. So let us know in the chat where you're joining us from, and if you say hello, maybe we'll see if we can get your comment to come up, like right here. Okay, welcome everyone, just joining.
You got
Welcome,
it way
Jeff.
faster this time. Way faster.
Well, it's because
Oh,
we're also like 5 minutes behind.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. So maybe if we had the duct tape going, so I can duct tape 2-3 minutes together or extend them. I don't know.
So what you're really saying there is Lambda is like the eldest sister of the family, you know, keeping everybody together. That's
Yeah,
my role.
yeah.
That's what I do.
There you go. That's awesome. All right, let's create a nap. So I'm gonna close that thing
Let's
down.
do this thing.
Pardon? Oh yeah, let's do this thing. Yeah, right, exactly. We're like normally I would have a giant diagram of whatever I'm going to be about to create, but everything is in the singular console. So for once, I'm not using 15 different services together. I'm only going to be using one for quite some time. So I'm going to go to Q Business right here. And then the idea is I'm going to be creating an application. I already have some applications created. This is the one I used last week, by the way. But instead of like using something that already exists, why not create it? So I'll hit create. And then
let's ask our chat what to name this. Let's not do a John name for a change. So chat, tell us what we should name this application. I think it's a little bit too important to leave it up to John for today.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, and while we're waiting for the answers, because it does take about 20-ish seconds for people to type that in. So there is one question. Where can people go for last week's episode? This is asked on LinkedIn. I answered in the only way that I can, but we also have chat moderators helping on LinkedIn. So here's a link to it. And we should have that link handy for everyone across all different platforms they're watching on. So check out last week's episode. And let's see if anyone provided the answer for what we should name this app.
no one has any name. No idea. Oh, someone
Okay,
just said
okay.
it. All right, it happened.
Fruit punch flavor maple syrup.
No.
No.
I'm going.
Oh my goodness!
I love the fact that I got Vermont syrup is the best.
No.
We got maple syrup. I'm good with all of these. This is perfect.
All
We're
of
gonna
them?
go with
Okay.
maple syrup, and Vermont is not the best.
There you go. That sounds better.
All right. So up next, we got the can I maximum 1,000 alphanumerical character? We're good. And I can go quite long there. So and there you go. Next up, we got the service access, right? That was easy enough. We just needed to give it a name. But next up, we got a service access in here. So that's going to be a role that we kind of need for getting Q Business to be able to talk to, well, Q Business, the service, to be able to do certain things inside of our application. So I could leave it as create a new one, but I'm just going to use one that already exists inside of my account. Is that all right, Iron?
I mean, yes, you can also create a new one. So you can create a new role. You can have a role that you've already created. There's a lot of different permissions you can have. You can also have cross-account roles too, but that's a whole different topic. That's like way deeper.
That's fair. Well, since I know you're probably wondering what is inside of this thing over there, let me.
I'm guessing you've given it administrative permissions because we're humans and we're lazy, right?
I'm an ex-developer. That is all I was doing, is giving myself admin permissions on everything I was doing.
As long as it's not root account. Actually, no, please don't give it admin. Just give it, what is it? What's that thing? Least privilege, right? So let's lock it down. What do you actually need access to? Just give it that.
Don't worry, that one was created in the first place by this thing that says create a new service link role. So the one that I got created already followed it. And it was applying that policy. And by the way, that policy, all it says is you can talk to CloudWatch metrics, you can talk to CloudWatch logs, and then you can still talk to CloudWatch logs, and then more about CloudWatch logs.
More logs.
Okay.
So you can be very, very specific about what Q Business has access to. Love that.
Exactly. That's why, like, you
Least
can even see
privilege.
it right there. Least privilege principle. It says only to /AWS/Q business log groups. So that's
Got it.
not bad, right? So pretty. And then we even have the namespace on the CloudWatch metric. So, all right, I will keep on using this one. Now, if anyone is wondering why there's this create and use a new service role versus a service link role, there's a whole explanation between service link role and service roles. But service role was the only possibility before. Now you can use service link role inside of Q Business. So before it was only supporting a service role. You're going to see that we're going to create a lot of other service roles as we roll through all of these. So now that's the service access. Next up, we got some encryption. So encryption, we can customize it and go and pick an AWS KMS key. Up to you if you want to do that.
Specifically at rest encryption, yeah?
Exactly. So that's the your data is encrypted by default with a KMS key that AWS owns and manages for you. To choose a different key, customize it, but this is an at-rest encryption. If I remove it, it is entirely encrypted still. It just uses the key that is managed by Amazon Q instead. So that's the difference. If you use your own key, you just have to play a little bit more with the policies. I don't want to bore you with those details today, so we're going to keep on going. Next up, we got connect application to IAM Identity Center. So two options here, organization or IAM Identity Center at an account instance level. That one is
binary selections,
interesting.
one or the other, right?
It's one or the other. So for those that don't know what IC is, or Identity Center really is, or what organization really is, the idea from this is we have a service that's called organizations. We have a management account where we can add the different accounts underneath it. And then what you can do is create and use Identity Center, which then is something that you run either in the management account or you can offload that towards another account. But then that now allows you to jump to other accounts if you are so permitted to do that. So Identity Center, you can even use it to do SAML authentication or OpenID or OAuth 2.0 towards your own directory if you want to. So say an Okta or a Ping Identity or etc., or even Active Directory if you want to. But that's at the organization level. Now, one of the things that Identity Center is used for as well is for you to create things that are called applications. So applications in the past were more for, I wanted to authenticate towards Salesforce, or I wanted to authenticate towards Box, anything that is SAML authenticated, for example. So the Security Assertion Markup Language is the acronym there for SAML. And that's the thing that you use to be able to authenticate to those third parties. Well, one of those applications is called Amazon Q Business. So what we're essentially doing here is we're saying, at which level do you want to tie this to? At the organization level or only within the account instance? And in my case, I have an organization already in my management account. And inside of that management account, I have an Identity Center configured already with a few users, which you may recognize the name. So we'll
And even spelled correctly. So you get
even spelled.
extra brownie points for that one. Good job, John.
So I'm going to be using this one right there. And I'll even explain a few things that this allows you to. So this should be the option you select. By the way, Identity Center and organization are free. So use them.
One person says SSO in the chat. So hey, chat, everyone is watching. Let us know which one you would pick based on your use case in the chat.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then, but wait. SSO was the name of Identity Center. Well, it still is, though, right?
It is. Yep.
Because if you go on the CLI, it says AWS SSO is the 3-letter command for. Yeah. Yep. So every time. So anyway, it's okay. It even says it right there, right? It didn't go away.
And chat, let us know if you know what SSO actually stands for.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There you go. So this is now creating an application, and it says it may take a few minutes. It's done already. Now we arrive to the next step, and you know what? I'm done. I don't want to use this. So I just want to show you the maple syrup. There you go. So the maple syrup super Vermont is not the best. There it is. So
Oh wait, hold on. I see this.
Single syrup on.
yes.
I have. I
Awesome.
might. I
You win.
might
You win
on
today.
occasion
Yes.
have seen John do single shots of syrup. So, is that
I
what
forgot to
this is?
bring one. I like it's too early. I forgot to bring it. Yeah, that's okay. So now that we have an application created, the next step after this, so let's go right here. We've done step number 1. So only 9 steps to go. The next one is creating a retriever.
We have
Oh,
40.
I love golden retrievers. Yes.
All right, so retriever settings, select a retriever, we arrive right here. 2 options, native retriever and Amazon Kendra. So those are our 2 options. I wonder if anyone has used Amazon Kendra in the past. So before we even explain it, let me see if I have that poll somewhere. Yep, there it
Here
is.
we go.
All right. Has anyone used Amazon Kendra in the past?
To cast your vote, type 1 in the chat, 2 in the chat, or type 3 in the chat if you've used it, or maybe you haven't, but you've heard about it, or you know nothing about it, which is fine because I have a very strong feeling John's going to tell us all about Amazon Kendra in about 30 seconds.
You think so? I'm going to disappoint you.
Oh,
Do you know why?
Because I'm going to do it.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
So I see a lot of 3s, actually, an overwhelming number of 3s. And let's see, a lot. Okay. So the people have spoken. Erica?
Yeah,
What
I'll
the heck
tell
is
you what
Amazon
Amazon
Kendra?
Kendra. Amazon Kendra is a highly accurate, very easy to use enterprise search service. It is powered by machine learning. So we can add search capabilities to our applications, which makes it easy for our users to go and discover information that is in content spread across the entire company if I wanted to. This could be data from manuals or reports or FAQs or HR documentation. I remember somebody typing HR policies in the chat earlier, customer service guides, which could be in multiple places like maybe Simple Storage Service or S3 or Microsoft SharePoint or Salesforce or ServiceNow or in an RDS database or all over the place.
A lot of it, right?
A lot of places. And that is Amazon Kendra. And I'm sure that our lovely chat mods will go and put a link to this page that John is currently showing us so that you can also go and learn a little bit more about Kendra and the 4 pluses of Kendra that you can
That's
see
true.
here. The first one being unified search experience, highly accurate answers. Number 2, number 3, customized search results. And, none of us have enough time. So fast.
In 10 seconds, I have a fun story for you. So I was at AWS Reinforce in Philly a few weeks ago, and I was having breakfast, and the person sitting next to me said, "Hi, my name's Kendra, like the service, Amazon Kendra." I was like, "Oh, no way, that's wild. It's cool." I actually met Kendra in person.
That's actually really good. There you go.
That's pretty amazing. But now I have a question for you, John and Erin. This looks a little bit like Q to me, Q Business. So what is the difference between Amazon Kendra and Amazon Q Business?
That's a good question, because to be honest with you, if I let me bring back my my data. Okay, so that's a picture thing, but if we go back to files connector, it can understand HTML content. it can also talk to S3 because that's where some of this data is going to be. So, and it has ML expertise behind it. So I get it, right? Like, why would I be using Amazon Q versus using Kendra in that case? And to make things worse, Erica, you
Yeah.
can pick Kendra as a
As
retriever.
a retriever. Got
So
it.
now you're using Amazon Q on top of Kendra. Okay, so I get it. I get the question. Here's the thing. When you use Amazon Kendra, what it is going to respond back to you is more
Yeah.
what it found in the documentation, but it won't try to generate. It doesn't have the generative
So
capability of
can't
Amazon Q.
summarize
Yep.
that kind of.
Or
Okay.
doing things like write me an email about the thing you've just found in a way that is more for this kind of learner or something like that. So that it won't be as part of this. So, so it's a
Okay.
way so that if you already have your data in Kendra, then you can use it directly and then just use the connectors you've been using inside of Kendra, and then that's it. Now,
Thank
I
you.
don't have Kendra spin up in my account, so
You're going to use a
use
native
native
retriever.
retriever.
Got it.
That's it. That's it. So afterward, we go into the index provisioning. I have two options, enterprise and starter. So the big difference between the two, you can see it for enterprise, it is multi-AZ, so multiple availability zones within the same region. So it's high availability versus single AZ for starter. So if you're doing a non-production workload, a dev workload, starter makes a lot of sense. If you're doing a production workload, you should be using the enterprise side. And then you can see how many unit or index unit range this is. So 1 to 5 unit for the starter versus enterprise allows you to go to 1 to 50 units. So that's one.
Makes sense.
Now I must be really, really specific about this. You cannot change any settings on this page. Once I click next, that's it. So if I want to change these settings, I have to delete the application and recreate it. The only thing I can change is this thing right there, the number of units.
Got it.
So, and then I cannot go past 5 if I'm in the starter side. So, yeah. And then the units, so up to 20,000 documents. And then there's something about something of the size of them as well as part of those scaling units. But starter is fine with me. So we're going to use that. And then now we're done with our retriever.
Yep.
See, I like checking things off of my list. So
You said
Nice.
20,000 docs. Those are considered the data sources, right?
that's right. So we're
Okay.
building right now the retriever. Think of it as what your index is going to be. So we're number 3. That's right there. We're about to connect data sources that we're going to ingest those documents in. So that's the next step on the
So
number
let's
3.
see if you can fix my pain about connecting to all these things that I need to connect to.
That's fair. So if I cancel out of that again, just because I just wanted to scroll out of it for a second and then show you that, yes, I have a retriever that is currently being creating. So while it's creating, there's a few things that you can do and there's a few things that you cannot do. So for example, we're going to be starting to add a few data sources, but we kind of need for this thing to get finished creating. But that's okay. We have a lot of explanations to do before we arrive to that spot. So that can work.
So just a little recap for anybody who's just joined us here now. We are creating a demo where we're creating an Amazon Q business application with a ridiculous name. And we have so far just created the application. We have set the retriever, and the next step is to create the data sources for this application.
That's it. That's where we're at. Number 1 and 2 is done. Let's do number 3. So, like you said, show me the that prove it.
Show me the data sources. Yes.
Right. So,
And
here
the
we
question
got
for
them.
everyone who's watching is up on the screen in the chat. What's your favorite data source type? Let me know.
Yeah. There's actually 40 of them. So as you're answering,
Oh,
you can see
wow.
like you can connect to a lot of stuff. Similar, very weirdly similar to what you can connect Kendra to.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm not making
What
parallels
are your
here.
favorites there, Erin? I mean, I have so much of my data in Work Docs. I also have to do quite a bit of search in Salesforce often. So I quite like seeing both Salesforce and Work Docs there. And then, of course, S3. I mean, I have a
Mhm.
ton of
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
in S3.
I see a comment here that says all greedy, loves them all. I see a lot of options for S3. I keep all my data under my mattress though. It's just that's what it is. So
That's how it works. Very easily searchable, I see. Got it.
yeah,
Got it.
got to pick up the
Um,
mattress and filter through all the papers. It's on post-it notes.
That's
Nice. I
so
love these.
about that comment of I love them all. There's 50 data sources per application, so just be careful on the amount. So I know you love them all, but I guess maybe you don't need them all for the same application. So
Yeah, I see SAP, Salesforce, Teams, SharePoint. I see Quip, which is also Salesforce, OneDrive. A lot of options out there for our friends and viewers who are watching. So a lot of favorites, and I wonder how many of those favorites are integrated into Amazon Q Business and the different data source types.
there you go. And then if you check there, my index
Oh,
status
it's
is
ready.
active.
It
So
is
let's
ready.
add those sources. The first
So
one
I
I want to do.
saw you had a lot of stuff there in your Windows Explorer. So I assume you're going to upload files. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's one way, right? So I've uploaded some files in S3, but I wanted to show what it would look like if I just went files connector, and then we went with these right here. So we're gonna upload each one of them and click the upload. So it's currently uploading and done. All right.
Okay.
So it says received, right? So if I go back to my maple syrup side, we're going to see under the data source, so uploaded files, sorry, it's going to say something about the retriever setting. You can see document count is at 0. So it's not yet ready. It's going to change in a few seconds. It's not going to say active and whatever, but we need to add a few more documents anyway, a few more things. But I just wanted to say this is one way to upload documents. All right, those docs are now inside of my index. That's it. It just got uploaded.
Yeah.
So there's.
But of course,
two
S3
more.
is my favorite place to go and put that. So that could have been
That's
another
fair.
option.
Let's add S3. We need a beautiful name. So beautiful S3 connector. I'm great at naming things. We got configure a VPC. So configuration of a VPC, this is so that your Amazon Q is now not Amazon Q living in your VPC, but more having a leg inside of your virtual private cloud, an elastic network interface, if we're trying to be accurate here. So it has an ENI inside of your VPC. So in case it needed to connect to your database or needed to access S3 through your VPC. Sure, that's what you would be setting up right here. You would select a VPC and then the subnet and the security group, etc., as you would expect for an ENI on that side.
And which would be a more secure way to do it anyway.
That's it. Next up, Q doesn't have access to the data. So how do I give it access to the data? A role. So I'm going to be picking a role, create a brand new service role, of course. Where is my data? So the data is inside of one of my bucket that is called Q data ingest. So if I go inside of S3 right now, I'm going to show you that I got inside of this Q data ingest, I have under this little prefix data, which is my different little pieces that are right there of the documentation of AWS. So not all of it, a little bit of it. Then we can add some advanced settings in here. So one of the settings that I would like to add is something that exists right here. I want the URI for this thing, which is going to allow me to add access control list.
Oh,
I wonder what that is for. I don't know. I'm adding it for a reason right now. I don't know. Well, maybe there is a real reason for me to add this. Maybe we'll see it later.
By the name, I'm guessing security again.
Shh, can't tell them that yet.
You know, I spoil
then,
everything. You know this.
It's okay. That's okay. We'll see if they remember though. So I'm doing an include pattern. So everything under the slash, Amazon Q business data, which is where all of my data was at. That's what I was pointing towards. That's all. Synchronization mode. I can either do a full sync, which is what I need right now, or I can do new, modified, or deleted content, which would do a full sync right now. So it doesn't matter what I choose the first time, but the second time, you're probably better off doing a new, modified, or deleted content and whatnot. But it's the first time. Sync run schedule. So you can say how often you want to run this, right? So you can upload data and new documents inside of S3, and it keeps indexing across each one of them. And then in my case, a run on demand is perfectly fine, because what I'm actually going to do once it's done creating the role, what I am going to be doing is just hitting the run sync now. So that's the next one to discuss or to talk about
Got
there.
it.
So in a second,
there's been quite a few pain points that we've already discussed. I mean, the security, the multiple data sources. Yeah. What else?
Absolutely. So the last one that I want to do is add, so sync history, that's fine, pending creation. So it's doing its thing right now. So the other one I want to do is just a web crawler. So I'll just show you an example of that at the same time. So web crawler, the way it works is you still need a beautiful name. And then you need some source URLs and stuff like that. So, for example,
all my crawlers have the word spider in it. I don't know why I keep doing this, but every single one of my crawlers has the word spider in it somewhere.
All right, spider. So there you go. So source URL agents .html. That's just from our documentation. You can add up to 10 URLs per connector. Remember, 50 connectors total. So 50 times 10, 500 links. That's not a lot. I understand. You can authenticate. You can do web proxies. But the thing I'm trying to get towards after creating the role, it's the same thing as earlier, is this piece right here. So I can say sync domains with the subdomains. And I can say, maybe not crawl URL patterns, include files, not use scope settings. That's what I wanted to do. So you can say how in depth you want this, or the crawl depth. So it's going to find certain links. In my case, just find the first link, crawl the first link. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. But in your case, even though it says 10 URLs only, it can crawl the whole website and then go to pretty in-depth, all the way to 10 different links down in the page. So that's quite deep where it can go there. Still full sync and then still run on demand is what I need. So let me go back here and see if so the S3 side, the beautiful S3 connector is done. I'm going to sync now, which means now the crawler is going to start towards S3. And then we can see
from in my past
syncing,
experience,
crawling, and indexing.
And in my past experience, the crawlers can take a little while. So should we move into adding users while we're waiting for that?
That's exactly it. They will take a while for these to actually go for it. So while that finishes, so again, this is going to go into a pending state and whatnot. What I want to do is hit the connection of data source done, adding users. So adding users.
I'm a little concerned because it's very quiet in the chat. Like, are we actually still streaming? I have no idea. Hey, we're over here talking to each other. We're just having this is an internal meeting at this point. Hey, everyone watching live, can you just throw your favorite emoji? Just prove to us that we're still alive. Okay, just favorite emoji. Keep it professional, please. Smiley faces, heart emojis. I don't know, a waving hand, whatever.
Just to make sure that
I feel like we're just having an internal meeting.
I know,
Oh,
right?
that makes me
So-
feel better. Yes,
Oh,
Okay, I
we
I
got
see.
some
we are
I see
here.
Esther
the chat.
waffles.
Thank you, everyone.
all right.
Check out
Well,
Pool
still there.
Shark.
Still there.
Insert
That's
favorite
perfect.
emoji here. Love that.
Amazing. So next up, like you said, Aaron, adding users. That's the next step, right? So we created an app, created a receiver or retriever, said which connectors that we wanted or which connection we wanted to go towards. Now it's time to add users. That one is kind of important here. So when I add users, because at this point, there was some payment being done towards AWS. The retriever has a cost associated with it. I'll talk about it later. But right now, I'm going to manage access to subscription. And remember what happened when I created my application. If you remember, I had to specify the IAM Identity Center.
Mhm.
So now, so if I roll back to our beautiful application, now inside of that Identity Center, I'm going to be adding users. So I could be adding directly a user. So I don't know, I could be adding Erica directly to my application. And that would make sense.
Okay, But
Or
that's going to take forever.
yeah. So instead, maybe there's something inside of these that are called groups, which has already all users in it. So
Right.
I'm going to be using that instead. So I will search for all users, and there it is. So all users, I'll assign, and then once that's done, I'm going to add another one, which is going to be the other group, which is for me. That's the admins, and we'll see why. But the thing I want you to see right now is, do you see no subscription?
Yep.
So assigning the user doesn't do anything yet. What you have to do after is you have to click on these groups and whatnot, change the subscription, and then now we have the subscription tiers. So business
Got it.
light or pro. So that's an interesting one.
I think I would love for our chat mods to just put the link to the Q Business tiers into the chat, because we are a few minutes behind. And I'm going to trust that you can look that up for yourself. But of course, those are different tiers with different pricing options.
That's
And
exactly
while
it.
they're doing that, I did ask everyone, hey, let us know if you have any questions. There is one question around how much this demo would cost in terms of pricing. I don't know if we have that information available, but I can tell you that you can use the calculator.aws to help you identify how much things would cost based on your use cases. Because keep in mind, this is a demo that's very specific for this purpose, but based on your conditions, calculator.aws is a great way to go. And then check the AWS pricing page for Amazon Q Business.
That one, Aaron. I was gonna trigger you with free demo. Like it's right there. Now we have just ended the trial period between April 30th to June 30th, which means before that you could just use it for free. But now after July 1st, you can see what you get. So first spot is the business index, enterprise, or starter. So you get 1,500 index hours, which can be used in 60 days. And then you get the 60-day free trial for Business Pro or Lite. So you can do this demo for free in your account right now if you haven't used Q. So for 60 days. If you have used Q, then I think it restarts anyway on the July 1st date. But anyway, I think this just started. So maybe you haven't used it in the last, 4 days? But yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is assign light to everyone. And then for the admins, that's me, I'm going to assign pro. So that's the licenses. It still doesn't cost anyone anything until we actually use the application, by the way. So we have to use the app for this to happen, which would be the next step, by the way. And then I just want to make sure. All right, Spider needed to be synced. Okay, that was it. So we got our users. We added the users. The last step
before we
now.
move on, I'm so sorry. There's a critical question in the chat, and I see a lot of side chatter in our chat mod thread as well. can you explain the difference between users and groups? So you're going between users, groups, all those things, but I think that's a core component that everyone needs to understand.
Yeah, so the groups is something that is part of my identity center. So inside of Identity Center, I got a group that's called All Users, which includes Aaron, Erica, and John. But I
So
also have a group
is
that is
just a group
called.
of users.
That's it. So I have a group of admins, which is just John. That's it. So now, if you had hundreds of users and you assigned the Business Lite license, that's the one where now you assigned it to all of those users that are part of the group. Instead of directly assigning them to the users, it's a lot more work to manage. So then now, what actually happens, and that's the cool thing about all of this, is next step, right, of this demo of accessing the web experience. What we're going to do now that I've assigned you all, the both of you, some of this application, I'm going to turn on the web experience. And that is actually the web page. And to make that happen, you actually have to go through the whole thing here. So don't worry, we're just clicking next because we've already done all of these. It's just that I kept canceling out and back in just to demo all of these things to you. But you see, I needed this thing to get created, which is just that last role. And then once I have this, now what will happen is a new URL will get created so that the both of you can now interact, and then myself as well, can now interact with our beautiful application of maple syrup something something.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay. But if I know you, John, you probably have finished lasagna in the oven and you're just going to pull that one out for us?
Well, of course I do. Why would I not? Come on. I would always have this. So if I go back here in my application on my side, if I refresh this page, I already see maple syrup. So I know, but just so you know, there's the Q Business demo. That's the pie in the oven or the cake in the oven. Because just so you all understand, one thing that I didn't show you is that these connectors right now, they are still syncing. So it's still doing its thing and all of that. It takes about, the last time that I ran this one, it took 30 minutes. So I don't want to wait 30 minutes. So instead, we're going to be using the Q Business demo. So for you...
Perfect. I've already opened it.
You did?
Yes,
awesome.
I did.
All right. Let me add you to the stage. There it is. That is the web application and how it's going to look like as soon as your user arrives, click on the application, and then as you saw, I had multiple ones of them, and then now you can start asking questions. So remember, I had insurances and stuff like that, so you could put something like, what should a client do to file an insurance claim due to flood damage?
Did you see how fast I typed like that?
I know. Maybe I was reading it off of your screen. So there it is. It's now answering from the document that we got. And then if you open up that source, just the little sources at the bottom there, it tells you which document this is coming from. So if you remember from my computer, we had, this is coming from the HTML files I had directly. So it's coming from, oops, sorry. Well, let me pull my screen up. These HTML files that were right there that we uploaded directly. So that's the one.
Okay.
You can also do something like, how should it be filed for hurricane damage, right? So that would be another one that you can do. Once it answered on something like this, you can even tell it, write me an email about it. You can see now it pulls from another source.
That's the best part. So
it even has source citations too.
That's it. Yeah. So write me an email, dear client, blah, 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 blah. You can do all of these things right there. So, and then, by the way, you can see your recent chat on the left side of that page. So it keeps your chat for 30 days. So that you can go back to those discussions that you had. And then the other thing that is possible to do is, you see that little attachment thing there? So you can click on that, and then you can add a certain file, and then now we're going to start seeing your desktop and whatnot. So that's
Ooh,
okay.
Which is maybe not the best thing to do right now because mine looks terrible.
That's okay. I have a fake you right here, Erica. So I'll step in and pretend like I'm you.
Wait, is that a fake Q or a fake you? Is it a Kubelganger? Not a doppelganger, a Kubelganger.
A fake Erica.
Yeah. And then you see like that was your chat that you were just having. So I can go
Nice.
back to like that same thing. What I wanted to show was this thing right there. If I hit that little thingy there and I say fake claims and I say, I don't know, something like I had one here. So what are the emails? Because inside of these fake claims, I can send. What happened? Oh, you're not paying enough, Erica. Like why are you a light user?
Because you
That's
made me a light user,
I did.
Mr. Dion.
That's me. Yeah, I agree. So I'll log in as me, and then I'll show you the difference if it's on my side. You're gonna see something different on my side though. It says admin, but the only thing of the admin is the fact that I'm a pro user, and you see it's a little bit different now. So the difference between the two windows, like on the left, Erica didn't have that part, and I do. So that's Q apps. But now what I can do if I want to is, all right, so let's go and try to upload that. So let me go to my demos and Q and that, and then we're going to take the fake claim. So, and then send the same thing again, which is interesting because you can see how now it from the fake claim emails with an auto claim that is still open R. So basically it took that from that beautiful fake claims file that I had, but you need to be a pro user to have access to that thing. And then if you were wondering, those were all fake names. So it's okay. So, and emails. So it's okay. I'm not doing PII data right now.
I love
anyone
this
go
comment,
crazy.
Aaron, if you can show it from Solita, saying that Gerard spent all the money on his new suit,
On
and that
new
is why
suit.
I am a light user and not a pro user. Probably
That's it.
that is exactly the reason. Just gonna hurry you up a little bit there, John. We
Yep.
have about 10 minutes to go.
The
Yeah.
next thing I want to talk about is security. So security from this point. So I'm going to act as you now. So go back to yellow is Erica, right? You made a mistake there. So and then it will say, how do you tune the PostgreSQL parameters? So remember what I said. You in this account, you are, and then I didn't tell you that. That's right. So
No, you
there were
didn't.
more groups. You are part of the database SME group, by the way. So your database
I
SME
am.
and Aaron is only a machine learning SME. So I'm
Only.
just saying.
Come
Yes.
on.
So now here's the funny thing. So I now have asked the question, how do you tune the PostgreSQL parameter, the sources? It was coming from this tuning Postgres parameter. It's a document inside of S3. That's fine. I will go and now pretend to be Aaron. So I'm Aaron.
Okay.
And
the
then
machine learning SME, which makes sense because we have the new machine learning engineer associate certification that's coming out on
There you
August
go.
13th. You want to get
Yes,
I'm
it
gonna go for
is.
that one.
And I'll ask the same question. Remember, Aaron has the same access as you, light and late, right? But wait, Aaron has something different. Don't worry about it. This is from my other tests. Look at what happens here.
Oh, he could not. He's not a database expert. That's why.
Can you ask
Oh,
it how to make
how-
fruit flavored maple syrup?
I keep on
How
spoiling
did I
everything.
do that? Is the question. Maybe someone was
Okay.
paying attention.
Why was Aaron blocked?
Yes. I hope I don't see any number
I think it's
6s.
6 because Aaron was being Aaron. That's probably the answer. But
Mm.
type there in the chat.
That
Do you
checks.
think it
It's like,
was
what is that
BBC
number
configuration?
6 being added?
I added that one.
Oh, I love that.
I can
So,
see that.
why was
Yeah.
Aaron block? Was it because of VPC configuration? Was it because access control lists? Was it because of the retriever type or the sync mode or the subscription status or because it's just Aaron being Aaron?
That's the
Yeah.
that's the fun
And
part. So
and hey,
all of it
chat,
is about
everyone watching
groups.
live. Everyone watching live, John had no idea 6 is there. I added it like a few minutes ago. So when he clicked over, it was there. So again, Aaron being Aaron.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm like, I thought I
love
didn't
it.
scroll it that much earlier, but
I
okay,
love it.
okay. All
So
right.
is 6 the light blue and 5 is the brown kind of color?
So I want to show you something. And remember, I went through something and I said I'm going to explain it after. Right? So
Uh-huh.
when I created the beautiful S3 connector, do you remember me putting something on access control list, this beautiful file that is right there,
Ah,
which I wonder
ACL.
what that file is.
Yes.
So if we were to open up that file, which is right here, and if it opens up in one of my in my VS Code right over there, look at this ACL. I said this is my S3 bucket, and I said the database SME group is allowed, and then so is the admins group. And then the ML SME is allowed on the machine learning side, but that means Aaron cannot read anything that is under the database side.
Makes sense.
So the group inside of Identity Center synced all the way to this spot right here. And Identity Center going and matching with your Okta, your Ping identity, your Azure AD, it's called Entra ID now. Your Active Directory normal, all of these tools, you can now use these ACLs directly inside of this as you pass in, and you can add these changes as you go through, which now means that you can say per group what they have access to. That's why Aaron, even though Aaron has the same license, and then I'm sorry for anyone that went towards the number 4 or 5 and whatnot, but it is about the ACL and then his group. So that's the reason. Now,
Also
there's
6.
even more things from a security standpoint that you can do. Things around stuff like, let's go to my Q Business demo, admin and controls. So by default, you are not allowed to ask questions about stuff that we have not added to it. So I don't know if any of you tried a few things. Erica, did you try a few things about at all on your side?
Well, this morning I asked, why is Erica amazing? And I got quite a nice response to that. Let's see
Okay.
if what it says now to me.
All right.
Why Erica is amazing. Oh, my English is great this morning. But nope, it cannot find relevant information to complete my request.
That's right. And that is because I don't allow Amazon Q to fall back on LLM knowledge. So yes, it
Got
uses
it.
its LLM knowledge to form the sentences based on what it has found inside of the Q documentation or inside of the Q index or the index that we use, but it doesn't allow you to go and find more information if I don't want this to happen. And I can disable right here the uploading files into the chat content, and then Q, which is the other thing, the Q apps. Sorry, I'm not showing my screen, but these things right there. So I did not allow that piece right there.
Got it.
Any one of you tried something about maple syrup at all?
I did ask it, how do I make pancakes with the best maple syrup? And it said something's not right. I could not generate a response. Let me try it again.
Okay.
Let
Right
me
back.
just copy paste, send it through. Don't you dare ask questions about this subject, is what it's telling me. What did you do, John? What did you do?
Hey, I created a topic-specific control that says any questions in relation to Vermont maple syrup or in comparison of it with Quebec maple syrup. It's fine to discuss Quebec maple syrup, though. So I've done that right here inside. It's called a topic control. And then I said, well, can you tell me about Vermont maple syrup is one of the things. And I said, block completely. Don't you dare ask questions about this subject. You can even start blocking based on like specific groups if you want to. So that's another one that is really fun to do on that side. So anyways, that's what I wanted to show you on that side. We did the Access Web Experience. I talked about admin controls and guardrails. The other things, if we go through them at a very light level there, the relevance.
We have 4 minutes. Not to cut you
Yep,
off, sorry.
yep.
We have 4 minutes,
No.
and we still have to cover our survey. So, hey, chat mods, can you drop the survey link for all of our friends before we get out of here? And we have to issue our home fund for our friends, so that way they can go practice this and do it and learn more, get that hands-on experience, because seeing is believing, but doing is learning. Yeah.
That's right. So
Absolutely.
relevance tuning, that allows you to make some things go above or below. So remember, if I have stuff inside of S3 or not, so I can change which data source goes up or not, or up or down. Plugins, this thing right here allows me to go inside of the chat and then just say something about create. Sorry, it allows me to add a use plugin Jira, create a ticket in Jira about this. And apparently I did something wrong on my. Oh yeah, I did not refresh my page. Create a ticket in Jira about this. I don't want to retry it too many times, but the idea, you get the idea is, well, I'm still not, I probably messed up something, but this would create something inside of Jira, or ticket inside of Jira for us. That's what plugins are for. Now, the fact that it's not allowing me is I probably remove myself the permission. And then document enrichments is about being able to integrate multiple, do pre-analysis, post-analysis as you include things inside of your index itself. Now, what I want to show you now is two things. The first one, your first home fund. The first home fund is exactly the demo that I just went through. This is coming from the catalog. So if you want to take that one and then go through the catalog and run this demo, you can do it inside of your account. And then they will be creating a few things. It tells you how to prepare to start, and then how to use your own account. You're not using an AWS event. Remember, there is that 60-day trial that you can create and do that within your own account. So that's one place. Second, and I saw that question earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't cover it, but someone said, are there slides about what is being discussed here? That is a 1-hour class by, his name is Paul. He is from Australia, and then he has taught a class that goes through a hands-on demo of everything I just went through today, but with using different examples. It's a free class. So those are your two home funds for this week.
Perfect. And if
don't go anywhere, because we have our friends. We have to drop right now because we're actually getting the hook. We have 3 of our friends. We have Duan, Brandon, and Alex coming on next on twitch.tv/AWS Training Live to talk to you all about AWS Cloud Quest networking. So we just talked all about a deep dive into Amazon Q business with John and Erica. Thank you both. And also a huge shout. Hey, chat. Huge shout out, heart emoji for our chat moderators on all destinations. So there's 2 destinations on Twitch, and then there's LinkedIn, there's Facebook, everywhere. Heart emojis for all of them. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Wilmer. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Darko. Thank you, all the friends. And hey, we'll see you next week. Yeah?
Absolutely. We'll talk about developers.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Don't go anywhere. Twitch.tv/AWS Training Live for Cloud Quest networking. See you there. Bye.